favorite country song because Rebecca and Rachel got to sing theirs at the church. I won't sing. But, so when I was growing up, my parents used to always say they thought I was a clumsy child. They said I was uncoordinated, I would stumble, I would fall a lot. And then they realized that I wasn't clumsy, I was just trying to do everything my older brother was doing. And I was a little ahead of my time, and I didn't make it look very pretty. But what I realized is that I have always looked up to and wanted to be my older brother. And it turned into, the best way to describe our relationship growing up was competitive. We would be competitive about everything, whether it was outside, we had a basketball hoop outside the house, and I'd like to blame my lack of a basketball career on those games, because I learned to shoot really well. He was always bigger. And every time I tried to drive the lane, it was, he'd body me, he'd block me, and I realized I should stop driving the lane and learn how to shoot. So, came to high school, I became a shooter. I'm 6'4", I grew. Coach was like, why don't you drive the lane more? And it's like, well, no, I can't. That's been beaten out of my system since I was 5 years old. And, another great time we had was playing football in the backyard. Baca was always the quarterback, and it turned out that I used to always be playing defense. Chris seemed to always be on offense. And a few times Dad was around, he would be the defensive line. And we won't get into it because Baca gets very mad, but he used to call Dad the praying mantis. His Dad's 6'4", he starts waving his hands in front of Baca. It's just, it really threw up his rhythm, but I was happy to have Dad on the defensive side sometimes. So, we grew up more, and it turned into maybe, we moved to the new house, we started playing, it turned into ping pong. It was always a competition. We're playing ping pong in the basement, it's fights, it's angry, we're throwing paddles, Mom's getting mad, she's screaming down, what are you guys doing? And, sometimes ends up in neck lacerations. It was always a competition. So there was always one thing that I was glad I didn't duplicate him on. I didn't want to be like him. When Chris was 4 or 5, he had a thing where he wore a bucket on his head every second of the day. Maybe when he was sleeping. I don't know if my mom took it off when he was sleeping, but he always had a bucket on his head. And it wasn't just a regular bucket, it was one of those obnoxiously colored McDonald's buckets in the 90s you got at Halloween. And for those of you that obviously know my mother, you can imagine her embarrassment when she had to take him out in public with her goofball wearing, bucket son. So, in the spirit of new beginnings, in the spirit of passing traditions along, I have an early gift for you two.
My mom saved all of them.
We were looking through photo albums last night. The white ghost bucket seemed to be Chris's favorite. That was the one in his album. And, if you're up for it. Pretty badass. But I'm going to keep this, don't worry about it. So, last night we heard a story. Chris and Angela at the restaurant were talking about how they met each other. And the Reverend was, sophomore English class. Matt Stein's first comment was, wow, Cherokee, they really let all levels be in the same class nowadays. Chris was obviously remedial and Angela was honors. I don't know what they were doing in the same English class. But and then we found out that one of the initiations to get them to start talking was one of Chris's friends said, yo, can you be my wingman? I think Angel's pretty cute. Can you go talk to her? Turns out Chris is the worst wingman in the world. He goes and talks to Angela, whatever. Sparks fly, I don't know. I didn't get the whole story, but needless to say, Chris's buddy was left in the dust, and it turned into a great relationship. But in all seriousness, I realized how much Chris has molded the person that I am today. And, you know, he's given me the ability to be a fierce competitor on the field, but off the field, compassionate, caring, and, you know, just a good person. And for Angela, I've seen you for so many years. You've been around so long, and it's been amazing to see how your relationship has grown and how a part of the family you are. And I've grown up with only brothers, and I'd like to officially welcome my first sister to the family. And Angela, welcome to the family. Congrats to you both. I'm so happy for you. And let's get this party started.